Good afternoon and welcome to Off the Bench podcast. Round 9 about to hit us. It's the last round of the season. I hope you're still alive in your head-to-heads. If you are, congratulations. If you're not, there's still plenty to play for. Try for your best result. I do every single year, even if I'm going crap. That's what you got to do. Talk about going crap. Roscoe knows all about that. How are you going, Ross?
Yeah, you could say something like that. Good news. Wasn't too bad this week. I got a 639, which was above par. Moved me up about 200 spots, but still now just inside the top 3,000. Not great, but I'm in 7 of my 10 grand finals, though. So it's not bad, including my caddy. So hopefully I can get that one home. But pretty average season overall, unfortunately. Nowhere near where I wanted to be at in the top 1,000.
Oh, dearie me. What about you, Guy? Did you fare any better?
I scored 658. Jumped up 75 spots. 672 my ranking, but just been stuck around that, 700-800 mark the last few weeks, and haven't been able to make any ground. In terms of this week, I don't know what to do. You boys are gonna have to help me out throughout the show.
All right, and I got an abysmal 560. I've I dropped a few more spots. I'm about 1,400 now. Just whatever decision I make, go against it. That's all I can say, Captain Maxi just failed for me. If there's a game he should have got up for, that would have been it. But no, can't even beat the Renegades. Can't. He looked so good too for a while too. But there's a few other disastrous things that went on. Even my choice of at least Philippi, bringing him in wasn't such a bad one. I don't mind bringing that one home. I think he'll be pretty good. But no, it was all a bit of a struggle. So we'll see how we go. Now, our final person today is an extra special guest, back-to-back champ. Andrew, how you going there, mate?
I'm all right, Brad. I take the cake, though. I had the worst round of a lot of us. Got 489, so you don't need to feel bad. I was taking a wild swing to try and catch up a couple of 100 points. And as usual, when you don't play the percentages, it bites you pretty hard this game. So, Stoinis is 3 sitting on field while I've got Ty's 146 sitting on the bench. That felt really good, but that's life.
That's got us. Yeah, that's got us sting. I must admit, my choices this week were a wild swing because at that point when you think, oh, bugger it, you might as well have a crack, and that's why I vice captained Abbott. It was chose a player on my team that had a high ceiling and hoped that the high ceiling would come through, but. And I guess that's what you've done there, isn't it? You've gone for the higher ceiling and thought, okay, well, let's hope it pulls off. And
it's just I was sort of going off ownership with a lot of my selections this week, going for things that were lower owned in my team to see if I could catch up. I sold Matty short purely because he was in 99% of teams and about 80% had the vice captain on him. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to take a punt here and offload him, put the 300 and however much he was, 300 plus K in my pocket, and hopefully get a couple of decent players out of it. But I think it was my only play to catch up, and it didn't pay off. But that's Supercoach, that's what you got to do. Take a risk at times. But it's funny that we often look for pods and talk about pods, but more often than not, when we take them, we don't end up better off. They let us down.
And I think the key point is a lot of times you can make up the ground without going too different. I felt the exact same last week. I think I went Meredith and McSweeney as opposed to Jordan and someone else. I think it was Spencer Johnson or something we were going to go. But just a slight captain choice can make you up some ground, or just one player that's not too out there pottish can also catch you up. So I think that's the big lesson.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people. It's funny, a lot of people do that. Sometimes when you're trying to change it up, it was only 2 or 3 players I had different, but it can make a huge difference. You can pick up 200 points with, like you said, a captain and one player different if things go your way.
I guess, Andrew, I'll put this one to you, and I mean, you know these fellas pretty well, but I used to talk a bit and listen a lot with Maxi Bryden over there at SC Playbook, and in particular with his player percentages and evaluation of ownership numbers. And he's
Yeah.
always been right into that, like, big time. And I used to love it, because there was so much value in getting rather vanilla, and instead of going up this pod route, trying to stick with the percentages, particularly of the top 1,000, the top 100, and trying to narrow in on those percentages. And but this year we've only got the 9 rounds. Has that changed? Do you think that sort of? I thought it did for me, like, because if as we're seeing now, trying to catch up ground became very hard because you've only got these 9 rounds. It's not,
Yeah, it could be. The fixture was a bit different this year too. The past few years, I always analyse the fixture at the start, and I find there's sections where you can break the fixture down and you can maximise your double game involvements over a certain amount of rounds. This year's fixture was very different. You couldn't break it down. You could take a heap of different routes and still maximise your score involvements, and I think that probably made the competition a lot closer. There was no sort of sneaky. You could see people cornering themselves because they'd be targeting players, and I'd look at it and go, "There's no advantage getting that player now because the fixture. You're not going to get any more double game players than me doing that route." But so I think that's part of it. I think 9 rounds is certainly part of it. You haven't got long. There's the longer, like anything, the longer a comp goes, the better players average out and do well. So you're easier to fall victim to those sort of things that are more out of the box, don't happen. So, yeah, but who knows? We had weather affecting games early, all sorts of things mucking up. I know for my team personally, I usually set a goal of having a team value by about round 4 of 2.5 million. I didn't get there till round 8 this year, and it's mainly because of the way my team set up, and I went really heavy in Stars and Renegades early, and both of them didn't start very well at all, and basically my cash generation just froze, and I paid for it for the rest of the year.
Yes, well, the Renegades didn't really go well at all, ever, until yesterday. Which, of course, they got Hossein back, which costs about 200 grand, but geez, I'd like him in my team. We might jump straight into the games. Roscoe, we're having a look here at the first of the double gamers for the Thunder. We've got the Thunder versus the very important Adelaide. Now, why this is important, and this is going to really boggle some people's brains, is that we've got Matt Short and we've got Dan Sams in the same team. Dan Sams should be probably one of the most popular captain's choices. However, do you really ignore Matt Short? So, Roscoe, what are your thinkings here on this game?
Well, ideally, the matchup isn't great for Daniel Sams playing against the strikers. However, if you look at his average, and I can pull up the exact numbers in a minute, his average is quite high against the Renegades as well. I believe he has an average of around about 70 against the Gades. But he also has a 75 average against the strikers too. So, for me, it's hard to pass up. I really like the Matt Short shout out too. But I just think it's too hard to go past Sams as vice captain, unless you're looking for some sort of odd play to go away from him. I think I'll be on Sams VC for sure. Very hard to pass it up for me, Brad.
What about the possibility of that final game being rain affected? What is there, 60% chance of rain, I think, at the moment? Who knows? Because
60% chance of rain, but only about 0 to 10 mils forecast at the moment. So it's not a lot of rain forecast at this stage, but definitely something to keep an eye on. But obviously, we're not going to know until maybe Tuesday or Wednesday how bad it's going to be. Sydney, the weather changes 100 times a day. It's been raining here today, and there's a bit more rain coming too. So, But look, at the end of the day, I don't think you can go too heavy on Thunder players anyway. I don't think there's too many options there where you could possibly go too hard on them anyway, really.
Who are you going?
Okay?
Who are you going, Roscoe?
Well, I'm bringing in Sams, and I'm bringing in either the other one will either be Hales or 10V will be my other one.
What about you, Andrew? Who are you going for the Thunder? You're loading up with a few. We know you like your doubles. So.
Yeah, I'll probably load up. I've got 3. I've got Warner and Green and Sams. So I'll probably, I think I want the wicket keeper. I think I'll go Bancroft. Just 2 bites at the cherry in the wicket keeper position when it's so volatile scoring. I like that. I would like Hales, but now that I've got Warner and Bancroft, I don't think I want the top 3 all from the one team. So probably go against Hales, which means I've got to look at the bowlers, and I guess McAndrew and Sanger are the 2 picks are the ones I haven't got. But whether I choose to change one of those up for a more pottish player, we'll see. I might, but now I'm completely out of it. I'll probably play a pretty straight bat this round, I imagine.
Yeah, I've got the old Warner and Sam's like everybody else. And does it surprise you that I'm going McAndrew, Guy?
I might be on board with you this time, Brad. So
I thought you learned your lesson the first time after the double, Brad.
Nah, bugger it. I tell you what, I did like him as a player. I wish he was a teammate of mine when I played cricket, which I still do. But I really do wish he was a teammate. He just gives 100%. Yeah. He rolls in, and doesn't matter if he gets smacked for 6, he gives it another crack. And
are you a keeper, Brad?
Me?
Yeah.
God, no. God, no. No, but I do go on the slips these days. I don't run far.
Well, I'm a bit different. I've only got Sam, so I've only got 1 thunder. I was probably going to bring him 3. I went Hales for their last double. Not sure I'll go in this time again. I'll probably be on how many people are going him. And same with Warner, just the bat only. I think with Warner, it's just kind of a gut feel with him if you're going to go him. I probably won't. I was looking at Green, McAndrew and Sanger. They're the 3 that I was looking at. Green, I think, will probably get you 80 to 100 points. I just don't know if you can get that in a single game player. McAndrew, similar thing. The one that stands out is Sanger. I think he's the one that I'm definitely going to go. The showground and Manuka, even Roscoe saying short boundaries, he's scored quite well there. So
is that Jason Sanger, not Tanvir?
No, Tanvir. The difference, the numbers which I had was actually a bit strange. He's only played the strikers 3 times, and he's been terrible against them. He scores 25, 23, and 3. But then he's played 4 games against the Renegades, and he's averaged 72 points. So he's scored 47, 75, 141, and 26. So it's a bit of a muchness. But I just think of both those grounds this year, I think they've been a bit more friendly to spin. Might get a bit more turn. So yeah, I'll probably definitely go him with Sam's. As for the other 2, I'm not as sold on. Bancroft, I don't mind. It's just I kind of don't want to waste a trade in the keeper. I kind of, if I'm going to go someone, try and go someone with a bit more upside. I know he can go big, but since missing the Australian team, I was actually quite hoping that he'd get picked instead of Smith going up the order, but just hope his confidence isn't down, but we'll see.
Now, as far as the strikers are concerned, I've gone, obviously, Matt Short, like everyone else will. I've also got Jamie Overton, who I'm going to be playing. I do believe, particularly that game played where it is, that ground has been a happy ground for slower or bowlers that can play off pace into the pitch. So if you've seen a couple of games lately, the fast bowlers have been belted there, and the slower into the pitch bowlers with a good slower ball have gone okay. So anybody got any more to add on that game?
I was wondering what you guys' thoughts on Liam Hatcher. Only in 1% of teams. Obviously, the only thing is that these job security, I don't know how good it is. Obviously, I'm presuming they're going to probably play Toby Gray at the game at the showground. So whether he drops out or Alex Ross does again, but does anyone like Hatcher at all? He's only 88k. I mean, we shouldn't really be caring about price at this stage, but I don't mind it. What do you guys think?
I just think job security is a massive risk with Toby Gray now coming into the side. He looked quite good, so I'm not sure if he'll play both games of the double.
Andrew?
Yeah, Hatcher's someone I've looked at if I do change up one of the Thunder bowlers, but that's what I'm worried about, him not getting the second game.
I just wanted to touch on Short and Overton. Was it worth wasting a bench loop on them, or are you going to start them on field? So at the moment, I'm starting them on field.
No, start them.
Yeah.
No choice for me.
I did have a
haven't
point in this
got any.
game, but I'll leave it for our question at the end for you, Oscar.
Yeah, my bench looping options are not looking flash. So I'm scratching there, but we know that. All right, second game.
The other thing, sorry, Brad, we should mention too, just quickly, is for those who are looking to trade in Cadmore for the Thunder, don't do it because he won't be playing the second game of the double. Not that you should be looking at him anyway because he's been absolute rubbish.
Yeah, they call him 4 points Cadmore.
You know what that means? He'll come out and get 100 in his first game.
Well, talking about that, we've got a team that played like rubbish yesterday that's got everything to play for and should be against the Hobart Hurricanes. They should be lay down misères to put on some serious points here. However, it's the Stars, and God only knows what's going to happen here.
Also to mention too, Brad, that if the Strikers win tonight, it's a dead rubber for them as well. They can't make the finals if the Strikers win tonight.
What, the Stars?
Yeah, they're gone if the Strikers win tonight.
Wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting, folks. So there be a bit. Maxi might come out with a carefree attitude, but I think I've only got Maxi. Is this game relevant for anyone, really?
Yeah. You've got Stoinis as well.
Not anymore.
I think this game's very relevant. One, I think for the Canes, who do you sell? I think we've all kind of still got a few Canes hanging around from their double. I think they're all sells. Apart from you could hold like a couple of their, one or two of their all-rounders, maybe like a Jordan or a
Chowdhury should be a hold.
Yeah, one of those. But the others I think you can sell. As for the Stars, I think Maxi this week's your obvious captain choice. He's got a 96 average against the Canes through 10 games, so quite a big sample size. And then an even bigger sample size, 22 games at the MCG for an average of 77. So I think he's just safe. I think most people will go in though. That's the only issue. The other ones could be Webby or Lawrence, maybe as a pod. But again, they're only playing a single, but they could go off. They both got really good roles.
If it's a dead rubber, I'm a little bit worried about Maxi. Watching him last night, just came out swinging for the first ball. I don't know where his head's at the moment.
Well, even the first game, I think that'll also make an influence on the trades whether Thunder bat or bowl first, because their batting's been very, very ordinary. So if they get put in the bat first, I mean, what are their bowlers going to be bowling, defending? So that could be a massive issue with bringing bowlers in for me, but we'll wait and see.
I don't understand why Maxi waited so long to bowl himself last night. Normally against the left-handers, he usually bowls himself a lot more. And the way Max was going, I was just surprised he didn't bowl himself earlier in the piece. Like, I thought he would have bowled one in at least the first 4 overs. He didn't bowl his first over till the 12th over or something, I think it was. So I was very surprised. He did look very happy yesterday with the fielding, and I see him going off at the break as well. He wasn't happy with the way they were playing at all.
So yeah, I'm fortunate. I got a few Hobart players. I got languishing. I got McDermott, Chowdhury, Ellis, all still hanging around, but I'm not going to play any of them. Although I keep regretting saying that every week about the Chowder. Is Chowder just about the best cheapie to come into the game this year? Anybody got any thoughts on that one?
He has to be, surely. It was based on price, made over 100K.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've got him. I've held him. He's going to be a bench loop for me. I'll have him in an emergency. I've still got McDermott. He'll be an emergency, and I'll sold Elwood.
In terms of points as well, though, I think Walter would challenge him. Walter or Overton as best. Oh,
you can't call them novices. Come on.
Well, they were bottom 114 or something.
True.
Or 106 or 7 or that.
How unlucky was he last night, Walter? That last ball of the innings, the ball hit the stumps and the bells didn't come on.
Yeah, because of the Zingales, they got the extra weights in there.
Yeah, that would have made all the difference to my team. Not.
But Chowdhury's a great loop option this week on the bench and last week.
Yeah, if you got the option there, I think 100%. Perth and Sydney. Now, this should be a cracker of a game. I'm still not convinced about Perth. Something about them that just doesn't. But maybe it's Hardy's captaincy style and trying to get around the new captaincy sort of, because it is a bit different to what we have been seeing in previous times. Maybe it's the inconsistency of the bowling. How do you pick which bowler is going to come out and get a score? It's very difficult.
I don't think anyone expected Hardy to bowl 4 overs last night either.
No, and that's why a lot of people, including myself, sold him. Because I was just assuming he was a bat only. You know, even Will Sutherland, I'll probably sell him this week and he'll come out and start bowling again.
It's unbelievable. He doesn't bowl. If anyone can explain to me why someone
apparently he's come into the season with an ankle injury. So,
but he was bowling at the start of the season.
I know that, but yeah, that was what they were saying. But I don't know.
Yeah, he looks sharp, that's for sure. But anyway, so how many Perth players we got, Andrew? There, how many you got still going?
I've still got a few. I'll probably field Hardy. I think he's a good vice captain or captain option in Perth. I've got Berendorf and I've got Ty. Probably field them both. Like you said, the Perth bowlers are a bit of a lottery. I think the more of them you field, the odds are you're going to get all the wickets because they seem to get wickets between them. You just don't know which one. I reckon Hardy gets overs in this game just because Hobson went so well in the last one. They're likely to go longer in the batting, I think. Go one less bowler and probably give Hardy a bowl, but, we'll see.
Yeah, I like that idea, yeah. Roscoe? Guy? Yeah, Guy.
I just wanted to touch on, I know you brought Abbott in this week. I went for not Hayden Kerr, sorry, Jack Edwards from the Sixers and didn't pan out too well. Had a good role. But yeah, the one that I think Hayden Kerr did score better. And he also could be an option. You boys like him as a pod?
Yeah, I was nearly going to go him over Abbott, but I couldn't do it. I wasn't sure how many overs he was going to bowl, and I wasn't expecting him to affect Jack Edwards either. I thought that Edwards would have still bowled his for, probably given he's been their best player this year, so I was surprised by that he bowled the last over, and Edwards only bowled 2 overs. But I did like Kerr. I'm going to talk about him later anyway, so I won't say too much now.
Yeah. He did get pumped in the first over, though, Edwards, didn't he? He got pumped bad.
I think Didn't he
go for 20 runs or something? He got absolutely slaughtered in that first over.
Yeah, but so did Abbott too, and he still bowled 4 overs, including bowling in the surge too.
Yeah, but they liked that. You heard him even on field, Moses, say that. Did you hear him talk about that?
No, because I was at the game, so I wasn't getting that stuff.
No, Moses was asked about that, and he said, listen, Abbott plays. He said he gives Abbott the worst overs of the entire innings to bowling. So if there's a power play over, it's Abbott's. If it's every bad over that there is to bowl, it gets thrown at Abbott. And he admits that. To me, that also
tells... They have to bowl 2.
They
have to bowl 2 overs in the power play, so they need 2 bowlers.
Yeah, I know, but he's just saying that every bad over he'll give to Abbott gets an absolute first opportunity to bowl those bad overs every single time. So his economy rate is never going to be all that flash, particularly if he'll get in the bowl all those ones.
Yeah, in saying that, I think he was none for 26 off his first 2 overs and ended up with none for 40. So his last 2 overs were okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just depends. I think the death overs are the most crucial thing. As we saw with AJ Tyre, prime example, took 3 wickets in the last over. It happens quite regularly, 2 to 4 wickets even in that last over. So I think that's the most crucial one. I just want to touch on before we move on with this game. Big shout out to Steve Smith, first player ever to get a big 0 in the BBL, priced over 200k. So
golden duck. So it wasn't just a duck; it was the golden duck.
Yeah, but in Supercoach, his first player over 200k to score exactly 0.
Now I will throw. That's a nice segue to go to Andrew on this one because I did notice. As a few people did, that you had a Steve Smith until about, what was it? I think it was a record. I think it was, 27 seconds to go.
Yeah.
You went and traded him.
Yeah, I was playing a matchup with a mate, and yeah, he was convinced I was bringing Smith in. I was never bringing Smith in. I only like bat only players if they've got doubles or they've got a good draw coming up, which will involve a double. Smith didn't, so I was never bringing him in. I tweeted earlier in the day that, would I go with my head or my heart? As much as I'd love to bring him in, the head says no. And I got crucified for that one. Someone thought I must have been cheating because I switched him to Sam's and Sam's got him out about a minute later. So that's the way it goes at Supercoach. I think last year when he got one of his hundreds, didn't he get dropped or something when he was still on zero and went on and made 100? That's the risk with a bat only player, and that's one reason I don't love him in my team. It's all or nothing.
It's a lot to pay. It's a lot to pay for a bat only.
Yeah,
especially on a single.
Well, I wasn't crucifying you, but I was laughing my guts out. I thought, that's just gold. When he took the wicket, how good is that? That's just funny as.
And the whole ground just went silent as soon as it happened. Like it was just like, just went dead silent. It was just like,
yeah.
I think everyone was so surprised by it just happened so quickly.
Sorry, Andrew, what was that?
No, it's just one of those things. You just have to laugh when it happens. It hurts when they're in your team, but yeah.
Oh no,
Supercoach.
Have you got any sixes in your team? I know you were fading sixes most of the year, but do you got any coming in this round?
No, I haven't got any sixes. That was just their draw early on. I didn't have any. There's no other reason for not having them.
Another option I've been looking at, because keepers, they're quite highly owned at keeper. I mean, I've got the VC on McDermott, and if he doesn't do well, play Inglis. But I was looking at maybe Inglis to Philippe as a trade, just because Inglis is so highly owned, so everybody was playing him anyway. So yeah, that could also be an option for me.
Yeah.
Inglis gets a lot of fielding points in Perth from those bowlers. There's a lot of snicks go behind the wicket. He seems to benefit from them.
I think he's due for some runs. He looked okay. He started okay last innings. I mean, Roscoe was at the game, so he would have been there. But he started well and then just got out. But he just, I don't know, he hasn't gone up all season. He normally at least does once. So
I was cursing him because we're live on the Supercoach Hub pod, and I was cursing about how bad he was going. Next minute he got a catch, and then he got another catch. And I'm like, oh, it's not looking too bad now. Just had news come through, Brad, too, that Sean Marsh has announced his retirement as well.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah.
You're here for it, but that's good. We had to see some young blood coming through.
Yeah.
With Inglis, it's just interesting to note, and I did look at it before the year started, that he averages, I think it was 12 points more than the next best keeper, and just about all that average was derived from fielding points. He was so far above every other keeper last year in Supercoach, it wasn't even funny. But that whole difference was made up in fielding points, and that's because of exactly what Andrew said. That Perth influence there is just quite massive. You know, those fast bowling battery that comes down at you.
he also scored a lot more runs last year. I mean, he made his way in Australian.
Yeah.
Limited overs cricket. So
the last game we've got is the Thunder versus the Renegades. Where we've spoken quite a lot about the Thunder just up the top of the innings there. The podcast, the innings. Geez, I've got cricket on the brain. The one, so whether you hold any Renegades, the one I am going to throw out there, if you really want the pod moving, I should have put it in this week's article. Hussain. Anybody got any interest for him? Oh, guys.
I do too, but I'm leaving him for my little segment at the end.
yeah, well, because I've got my keeper issue and I wanted to use I've got Sam Harper there, but I can't use him with McDermott. So I kind of only want to use two trades on the Thunder and then keep one up my sleeve for either a keeper or someone in the last game. Maybe Hussain was the one I was looking at. It just depends on trades, because you could also, my thing is I'm holding Paul Walter at the moment, but I could sell him instead to get Hussain, because he's quite expensive. Yeah, I don't know. He's just based off last year. I think I had him and he was quite good bowling, handy with the bat. So, yeah, if he's low ownership, I think it's a great option.
What do you reckon about that same call, Andrew? Any interest?
Yeah, I like him. Look, that was one of the calls I got wrong last round. One of the many. I bought Rogers into my team. I was tossing up between Hussein or Rogers. I went Rogers because the Renegades were bowling first, and I saw these, death over wickets. Regretting after the match, I should have gone Hussein. I like him, but I'm not going to leave a trade until the last game. One of the reasons I got a Renegade in last round was so that I could undo one of my Brisbane players back to the Renegade player this round if I needed to not run a loop, so to have a bit of flexibility. So I'm sort of stuck with Rogers now.
All right. So anybody got any more to add on this game? Any Renegades you're liking, disliking?
Well, Will Sutherland, I think you could sell him now that he's not bowling. And it's just annoying. I think you just got to time these players well. I mean, even Kane Richardson came out and scored 80 odd last game, and when we all had him, it was just rubbish. So just got to time them, I guess.
Yeah, we've all suffered that. I think even Andrew might have had Kane Richardson at one stage. Did you have him during the peak? Yeah.
Roscoe has a man crush on Fergus, the guy with the mullet and the piercings.
Oh,
He brought him in. You brought him in last week.
Yeah, I did bring him in last week. I needed a cheap option, and I bought him in. And we didn't do too great. I'm not going to admit that, but that catch he dropped on the boundary of Maxi that cost both Andrew and I points because I'm pretty sure Tom Rogers bowled it. And then, yeah. Yeah. I won't be playing him this week, but I've got him there. But he won't be in my team.
I can't
Are
believe
you boys all selling Walter? Yeah.
Oh, I've got him in my team. He'll probably, I've got him sitting there because I'm planning to play loops, and if I don't, well, then he switches out for someone like to bring Rogers back in, and it doesn't cost me a trade.
Yeah, I've sold him just because of his cash. But I've got a loop in my batting and my bowling, so I've held on to Spencer Johnson, just because it's a lot cheaper. Just use my loop in the bowling, and I've got Sam Harper still there too, which I'll be very surprised if he plays this round. So
we should hear the team today. Should get the squad for the Stars today.
We still haven't even got the squad for the Strikers, and they're playing tonight.
All right, so that's it for all the games. Now, Roscoe, you had a little bit of a segment there you were going to jump in with.
Yeah. So basically, the one of the questions I had. So let's do what's the go with Timmy O just quickly. The only question I had through was someone was asking what was the pod play that you'd go for outside the Thunder? So a player who you think is going to score really well this round. That is something a bit different to going away from the norm because obviously a lot of people are going to go on Thunder. So for me, I guess I'll just kick it off first. I'm going Hussein. I think he's probably the best pod play for me for this round, and he's one that I'm looking to trade in at this stage. He looked really good in that game, and they're playing at the showground too, which we saw what happened in their last game with the Spinners. He's a little bit more expensive, but yeah, as I said earlier, there's not too many Thunder players that I'm really convinced I'm loading up on, so I'm going to have a crack at him. So what about you, Andrew? What are you thinking? Who's your pod for the round?
Yeah, I think someone from the Renegades because they're playing at the showgrounds. And to me, that means if you haven't got money, it's Zampa. If you load it up, Hussein.
Right.
That's the way I'd go.
Well, I like Hussein. He's quite expensive though. My big pod, it's balls to the wall stuff. I mean, I probably can't do it. So I'm still scarred from Riley Meredith last week for a similar reason. But Henry Thornton, I love the guy last year. He's looked quick this year. He's only played the Thunder twice, 143 and a 62 against them. He plays in the first game, so I think he's a perfect loop option as well. Just to hopefully he goes big and loop him in because no one else will have him. Get yourself kind of ahead. So yeah, that was my massive podcast.
What about you, Brad?
Well, mine's a bit out there. That's not unusual, is it?
No, not for you. It's not. No.
Hopefully, it's not Jonathan Merlot.
Could be as bad. Could be as bad.
Oh no.
Mine is a ranger. Am I giving it away yet?
Oh, not.
Oh, he doesn't have any hair now.
Put Popey.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Pope man. Oh, your love
Oh.
child. You're talking your love child, Brad, isn't it?
It's Bradshaw.
Mate, Lloyd Pope. Look, the main reason is that we've mentioned it now a couple of times is showgrounds, right? We saw what happened at the showgrounds a couple of times this year. The last game, that was just diabolical, as far as what spinners were concerned and slow bowlers off pace. Lloyd Pope probably spins it more than any other spinner in Australia. He's not too up and down. Where you get Cam Green, say he's just a very straight sort of a bowler that doesn't really spin it, a lot of variations in pace. Pope can spin the ball. And I think he could, he's not a bad option, I feel, on that pitch.
I don't want to cut you off, Brad, but you do realise that the game that they're playing is at Monica and not at the showground too.
Oh,
right?
is it? Oh, no,
Yeah.
I didn't. I just looked. Oh,
In
well.
Canberra, look, their game's in Canberra tonight.
No, backtrack
Paddy
on that one.
Paradise.
Backtrack.
Sorry
we
to be the bearer of bad news.
we won't go to the Pope because he's going to get absolutely pumped. I'm going to be changing that. I'll go Sean. Bugger it. I'll go Sean Abbott. There's mine for the out west on the hard deck out there.
I do like Hayden Kerr.
Yeah, I was going to mention him, and Lance Morris is another one too. If you want something a bit more out there too, he could also go well against the Sixers and at Optus as well. If you're looking for something out there.
All right, we're going to run through captains.
No, just quickly before we do that, just want to go through the off the bench overall leaders. So first place at the moment we have Nicholas Stiller from Lock and Stock, 38th overall. We've got Russell from Fading Philippine, 39th, and oh god, this name fair income. I love your mum's poo tank, Mark Coach. That one is 210th. And the best of the off the bench leagues, unfortunately, who dropped down a bit. Off the bench 3 was second overall in the 10-man league. Has dropped back to 9th now.
And massive shout out to Nicholas for coming on last week.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can get back top 10 finish maybe.
All right, so in my off the bench seeded number 1 league, we've got the final. I made it. I don't know how with that score. The Beast is up against what are we up against? Adam. I think it looks like, so we'll see how we go. Good luck, Adam. There, you're versing me.
Yeah, and I've got in off the bench league 3. I have made the final, and I'm up against Mark, the coach of the Dimmicks, who's sitting at around about 200 and something overall. So I've got my work cut out this week. I'm pretty sure. What about you, Guy? You in the same? Which one are you in?
I think I'm off the bench 2. Seeded 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
So who's in the final in that one?
Rogers Rejects against 2 Slips and a Gully, Tom v. Mark. Mark just beat me, actually, in the last round.
Yep.
All right, so that now brings us over to captains, vice captains. We might go round the table. Roscoe, what do you got there?
BC definitely on Daniel Sams, and the captaincy will either be Maxi or Hussein. There's a bit of a out there play depending on how Sams goes.
Guy?
Yeah, well, my thing was maybe not VCing Sams, but it didn't work for me round 1 when I went against most people. So I've looked into it. He's 93% owned to the top 1%. So the only thing is if you're going to captain him, he's got a 70 average against strikers, 67 average against the Renegades. So you take that. And yeah, mid-60s averages at both Showground and Monica. So I think I'll just have to VC him. As for the C, like I said before, I think Maxi's your obvious choice. Yeah, I'll probably stay general. I probably won't go 2 out there. Just more with my trades, I think, this week rather than captain.
Yeah, before we get to Andrew's choice, I'll be with most of you. I'll be with Sams as a VC. And my captain's choice, I think I'll go down to the Perth-Sydney game. I haven't chosen one yet, but I've got a few players there, and I think there's going to be some points on offer. Always a lot of wickets down there, isn't there? So I like that. I like a lot of wickets. Andrew, what do you got for us?
Yeah, that's a pretty boring week. It'll be Sam's as vice captain, probably into Hardy if Hardy looks like getting overs again. I mean, when we see the Perth team, I'll make that decision. But if it's not Hardy, it'll be Maxi. But I think Hardy might be a bit more pottish.
Yeah, mine will either be Hardy, a Perth fast bowler, or Abbott. I haven't decided yet, like I said, so I'm sort of with you on that. Right. What else we got there, Guy?
No, that's
Anything?
about it.
You're about done?
Well,
All right.
fine.
Well, good luck for this week, Roscoe. Good luck in your off the bench seated league that you've made the final. You give yourself no hope, but you do something weird, mate.
No, don't worry, mate. It's all a bit of fun at the end of the day. As long as I win my cashy, that's all I'm worried about. So, just before we do wrap it up, Brad, obviously a big thank you to Andrew for jumping on and Guy and Brad for hosting as well. Obviously the regular season's over now. We will have one more final podcast in the next few days where we're going to do an awards ceremony thing. We're going to come up with some awards for best buys, worst buys, or whatever we can come up with. We'll have a few there and have a bit of fun, and that'll be it. And then we'll start ripping into NRL pretty soon to preview with the positions. So there won't be a big break. So hang in there. I know we'll be a bit bored after BBL finishes up, but NRL will be here before we know it, I'm sure.
You know, I could nearly give Weatherall the award for the dumbest moment of the year for not grounding his bat, but I can't do that now that he's come out and absolutely brained it. So that just makes me look like an
Oh, you
idiot.
can still do it. You can still. Trust me.
Mm.
You could nearly give it to Cox for his effort with the gloves last night. I don't know what the hell he was doing with that run out last night, trying to take it one-handed, and then missed it completely.
Well, yeah, I actually missed that, so I'll have to go back and
Oh, you have to watch that one. Oh my
between
God.
between work. Sometimes my weekends get a bit smashed in the game I'm in. Andrew, you got anything more you want to say, or let everybody know?
No, it's all good. I've enjoyed this year. I know it hasn't gone well for me in the end, but it's been a lot of fun. You know, probably the most disappointing of last week, just going all out for number one, is I've probably ruined my chances of having what it would have been 5 years running, finishing in the top 100. So
Wow.
I might have stuffed that up now that I'm sitting down at 258th. I think I dropped about 160 spots. So.
Well, how many points are you outside the top 100? Do you know?
Yeah, I did have a look, about 150. So it's gettable,
Possible.
but it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people to jump.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about the points; it's about how many people, because there'll be lots of people doing weird and wonderful things in this last round, I imagine.
Yeah.
All right, another shout out. Shout out to Dave, one of our co helpers here. He does help edit some of my stuff, and he does look over a lot of our statistics and give us his brains. Very thanks, Dave, for your year this year. A huge, big shout out to Tim, who's often co-presenting here. Timo, we hope everything's going all right. A big shout out to Eden as well. We hope you're getting better soon, Eden, and to all the family there. Tim, we hope that things are on the mend and improve very shortly. All right, that's it, guys.
And thank you everyone for tuning in, and also for jumping in and following the group. We're over 1,000 listeners, which is fantastic. You know, we've only started this group back in, I think it was February last year. So it's been fantastic. So thank you for them, and obviously thank you for Bluebet for their sponsorship during the NRL season too. So we're looking forward to working with them again once the NRL season starts.
All right, guys. Ciao for now, and stay safe and have fun super coaching, eh?